And we are live with so many artists. So this is so exciting. I'm so happy. How are you all?
Good. Nice to see you.
Yeah,
Nice to
it's great.
see you.
It's great to have you all here. We're obviously like celebrating this amazing collaboration between Hello WOCA, like 22 founding members who have done this great piece on async art, which is called the Arcana Crypto Tarot, and I'll actually let you introduce it and talk about it. So, Sparrow, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. First, thank you so much for having us and hosting this and letting us show this, amazing piece of art and letting all of these beautiful, wonderful artists share their journey, basically, in creating this artwork. When we started WOCA back last September, this was one of the first collaboration projects that was proposed by Daniela, and we've been working on it on and off really ever since then, last September. So it's taken a while for us to get here, but I think the wait was definitely worth it. The deck that we've got is one artist per one card for each of the 22 cards in the major arcana. There was no prescription about style. It was just go sign your name next to the card that you want to work on, and interpret that and however you like, and then come back when your piece of art is finished. And everybody did, and it all in some ways just sort of happened and fell together. Probably one of the hardest choices was the frame that sort of makes all of them cohesive. I think we went back and forth about the frames and which one to use for at least a month. And I think in deciding on the frame, we lost some momentum. And that's when Karen really stepped in and said, no, we're going to finish this. Let's get it done. And get it done we did. It's the first working tarot deck that I'm aware of, using digital art. So that really makes it quite special, that it isn't just individual tokenized cards. It is a working tarot deck where every day at midnight GMT, the async engine randomly chooses 3 cards. So it's like having 3 decks where it's just a random card draw. The cards can be upright or reversed, and that can change the meaning of the reading, obviously. But we couldn't have done this if it weren't for the way async art works. And the way async art works is perfect, really. It's a perfect use case for that kind of technology. I've actually not seen something yet that was quite so good a fit for going and looking at every single day to see, what meaning is there today. And people can do that each and every day with this tarot. So I think, yes, Celia, if you've got the website and you want to show the individual cards, then maybe everybody can talk about, or we can show them and people can talk about.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen.
And I guess I have a question maybe in the meantime, like who came up with the idea of like basing this on, tarot cards? Like who is actually the expert and, the passion driver around this? Is it Karen?
Actually, the first person to propose a tarot deck was Daniela, who sadly couldn't be with us today.
Okay.
We actually originally created a spreadsheet. Whoever did it, whether it was Daniela or not, I don't know, but someone created a spreadsheet with the entire set of cards, including the suits, which ends up being something like, I think it's 72 cards. But interestingly, with the 22 major arcana, which are the primary icons of the tarot, we actually didn't fill those right away. It wasn't a huge rush to have everybody suddenly come in, and we had to leave loads of people out. It actually took some time for people to come in and thoughtfully decide which symbol they really wanted to interpret. So I would say that took at least a couple of weeks. I'm not really sure. While that was happening, I may have been the one to realize that maybe 70 plus cards was going to be a huge number of artists to wrangle. And at some point we all decided that actually, why don't we just keep it to the 22? And I mean, it's really difficult because actually at the time that this was happening, what was going on was that women in crypto art were starting to talk to each other in private Twitter groups. Angie Taylor had made a Twitter list of women of crypto art. Sparrow had an idea of gathering women of crypto art, and somehow both of those ideas coalesced into a private Twitter group. And it was in that group that WOCA began, really. So in a way, this tarot deck was happening at the same time as when WOCA was coalescing as an idea and organization. So a lot of the details are a little bit lost in space. But what we do know is that at some point around September, everything got moved to Discord because it was easier to organize in Discord, and because the private Twitter chat could only accommodate 50 people, and it was snowballing so fast we couldn't handle it. So everything else in the conversation is recorded on the Discord. Other than that, your guess is as good as mine. I just remember a spreadsheet and thinking, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. I don't know. What do you guys remember? Celia, check, you remember? Because I think you guys were there.
I remember actually someone added Daniela because Daniela had just had this idea to do a tarot collaboration. And so this was sort of before the Discord for sure. Mm-hmm. And she spoke to someone who said, oh, there's this great Twitter group full of women. It would be really great to maybe have a collaboration with the people in there. And so someone added Daniela, and then she explained the idea. And so many people just jumped on board immediately. And I think she was the one that sort of organized the spreadsheet and all of that. Everyone just sort of wrote their names to the ones that they wanted to do. And then things moved to the Discord, as far as I remember.
Yeah. It's basically a lot of things are in Discord right now, but all started on our Twitter group. And it's really hard to keep track on Twitter because there's so many messages, but I think it's really good and crazy that we have all our conversations about this on Discord right now. So if you guys are curious to see, you can go there.
Yeah, that's where the thought process really unfolded.
Cool, super. So yeah, talk us through the different cards and maybe kind of who interpreted what and in what way.
I don't have. Celia, do you have it all in front of you with all the names?
Well, I've got the WOCA website up.
Oh, perfect.
With the cards. So this is the first 4 here. I can scroll down whenever someone wants to show something specific. I don't know if you want to talk about the individual cards or.
Who do we have on the call? I can't see everybody.
Yeah, let's find one of the artists.
Oh, Elisa's here. I just wanted to we went through several iterations of possible frames, including, I think, a black one and a gold one that you're seeing here, and a clear one, and possibly some others. And so Elisa and I think one other artist mocked some up, and we went through a whole process of voting on which frames we thought would go the best with all of the different styles. As you can see, there are an incredible amount of styles, and somehow, amazingly, they all coalesce into this really beautiful unified deck. And I don't even, the magic around that is already amazing. But in the end, we settled on the gold frame. And yeah, so I think that, I'm pretty sure that was Elisa's frame, so I just wanted to give her a shout out there. Elisa, do you want to talk about the frames at all and what your thought process was about that? Can anyone hear me anymore? I've lost everyone.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can all hear you. I don't know if Elisa can hear us or not, because I think
we may have lost
frozen.
Elisa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if anybody wants to talk about their individual card. I can't really see everyone who's here, but go for it.
Sure, I can start.
Cool.
So my card is down at the bottom. Let's see, it's the star just over here. So the star is all about inspiration and sort of the calm after the storm. She's got one of her legs in water, one on land, sort of to symbolize balance between the conscious and the subconscious. So it's sort of about inner strength and hope for the future. And I jumped on this card straight away because I really identified with it, and the idea of sort of balance in everything. I'm a bit of a hippie that way, and so that's what the star is about.
Amazing. Do we have anybody else who wants to talk about their card?
I can
see Elisa.
I can talk about
Yeah, go ahead.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So my card was the devil. I think is there.
Okay.
And this is such a strange card, I think, because it represents evil, but at the same time represents fear and power and this imbalance and this striving to achieve something. And I wanted to draw something strange and creepy, but at the same time that represent this kind of strange balance that this card represents. It's not just evil, it's just not good too. So it's kind of this dichotomy, I think. And yeah, I think it is basically it. I just wanted to create something strange and that represents this strangeness of this card.
I really like the hands because it makes it look like the devil is a puppet.
Yeah. And it's my hands. I had to take my own reference, guys. Oh my God. And I had like to pose for my own drawing. Yeah. But at least he has like long nails, so
Super. I can actually see a lot of your I can see a Daira there, and I remember her style as well. So it's nice to like see the style of each artist like into the cards, and yours as well, Jack. It's beautiful. So
thank you so much.
yeah, anybody else who wants to jump in, like, feel free.
Yeah, I would like to introduce the world, the last one. There it is. That was actually an experience, because when we started this, I was very, very new to crypto art, and I was still figuring out with programs and with masks, and all I knew that there had to be a turtle, because we all have at some point listened to these, or we had heard the Chinese and the Indo proverb that the world is based on a turtle. And then I think the kid asks his dad, so what's beneath the turtle? And then the father says something like, oh man, can't you imagine? There's turtles all the way down. So the world in tarot is considered that the when you draw this card, that you are in between the past and the future. And so the turtle represents the past. It ha everything, it's on top of it. So you see the turtle on the top, on the bottom, and then its carapace is a reef, which is in the biology sense often considered as a nursing ground. So it's where you come from. And the farther you go away, there's going to be trouble at some point, but you go through this trouble, through this fire, until you see the light. And so it's like holding all these packages, all these things from the past, and actually you can turn this card around, and then it becomes the future. And then the turtle becomes a bird, and the bird is on top of everything. So it holds everything that is in the past. It went through to it, and it's flying, you know, towards the future. So in tarot, it means somewhere like you need to make decisions, and your presence is made of what happened in the past and what comes in the future. But you have to make a decision to go either way. You can stay where you are, or you can decide on overcoming everything and then just regrowth. And that's I think what I wanted to represent with the world.
Nice. So really, really beautiful.
So I can go next. My card is the Yarrow Font, and it's the 5th one, I believe. And when I joined, actually, it was just in the moment that WOCA made a Discord. So I didn't catch the Twitter chats, but I catch the beginning. And at the time, some of the cards were already chosen. But I still like, and when I read the description of this card, because I didn't know it, it felt very restrictive. And so then I went into researching other interpretations that were already there, and other, both visual and written, so that I could feel like, where could I expand, because I'm a lover of magic. And it felt very religious, the thing that very, like, it was about institutions and organizations and the institution power. And I felt like I wanted to branch out with my illustration. And so I interpreted more like it's a power that it's like doing a rite of passage to these two women. And this character of power is like an androgynous figure. You can't really tell. For me at least, I don't really care about the gender. It's like gender fluid, this character. And I felt like it brings an approach that is much more empowering to the card, at least from what I read, and more inclusive. And I actually had the same challenge as Czech with the hands. I had to take pictures, but then at the end, I was really proud of the way when the hands get really like the way that you like them. You're like, those tasty hands. And so I'm really proud of this card. There was a time that I was even like, because it's out of my comfort zone, and I felt kind of demotivated at some point. But then I was like, okay, what if I made this really fun? It's always my process for like overcoming struggles in my creative process. And then everything just flew, and I I have lots of fun, especially when I'm painting the hair, and all of those flowy shapes and the colors. And yeah, I was really happy to finally create something on the tarot world. It was an amazing experience.
Super.
The hands always like, oh my God, it's such a struggle. It's like,
I'm really, really glad to find out it's not just me.
Oh, it's not just you. Like, I've somehow put myself in a trap recently. I put hands everywhere in all of my work, and I don't know why I did that to myself. But like my phone is just full of photos of hands in different positions, and like if someone were to just go through my photos, they'd probably be super weirded out. But that's the life of an artist, apparently.
As a photographer, I really love photographing people's hands because I feel like as a portrait photographer, hands say a lot about the person you're trying to capture.
They're so difficult, though. I mean, I did I did a slip cast of my hand so that I could practice drawing it, because it was my right hand and I needed my right hand to draw. So it was really difficult. And I can't draw very well from a flat photo. I need that 3 dimensions. So yeah, I highly recommend make a cast of your hand and use that to practice on.
Hey, listen, Elisa's
this is
back.
such a great idea.
Elisa's back. Elisa, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I've been getting disconnected, so I'm going between the computer and the phone, but it's nice to see everybody. Thanks for having me.
We were talking about your frames, but I also, while we have you, do you want to talk about your card? Because you were one of a couple of people who made the card in VR.
Sure, of course. So my card is Strength. Can you hear me okay?
A bit far away, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'll talk really loud. All right, so yeah, my card is Strength, which is the 8th card, I believe. Yeah, the 8th card. And well, it's interesting to hear Ines say that when she got to the list, a lot of the cards were already taken. Being with my name, Lover Worldwide, love, everything about this love. My first intention when I heard the tarot and the list was up, I was like going straight for the lovers. And Karen, I have to just say, I'm so, I love what you did with the cards, with the lovers. It's just like, you blew me away because, it was something that I had an idea of. And then when you see it created, I don't know, I love your card. I love your card. So, but yeah, the Lion, Strength, it was one of maybe 3 cards left when I got to the list. And I wanted it to be a bit of ethereal, connecting to the heavens and the celestial realm. And at the same time, I wanted it to feel very grounded, right? So the Strength is about the lion, power, and interestingly, it's also my sign. I'm a Leo. So I loved the card as I was doing it, and I wanted to be able to create a little bit of an experience. So I did a little video piece where you go into the eyeball, or you're coming out of the eyeball of the lion's head. So you can actually, in VR, go inside of the head. And what's really interesting is when you're inside of the head and you look out through the eyes of the head, it's another face. It's like another lion face. So we talk about, the cards being vertical, on regular and then inverse. Well, with my card, you can also go inside and see it from the inverse out. So
Oh no, we lost her.
Oh no.
I was loving the story. I didn't know.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, maybe she'll come back.
But talk about,
Wait. I think
adding dimensions.
Here she comes.
Hopefully she comes back.
Can you hear us?
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. We were all very into your story, so please keep going.
Okay. Well, and then one of the things that I really loved about the card, I don't know if you heard, did you hear that I was saying that you could be inside of the head and look outside of it? I don't know where I dropped off.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
just
you
at
were
that point.
saying that you could see from the inside to the outside and you would see another face.
Yeah, okay. And I was planning, I'm going to post some of those images so people can see it as well. And then as far as the inspiration of the card, I don't know if anybody notices, but there's hands underneath the lion's head. I don't know if that was something very visible. I wanted it to be a little bit, subliminal, but it's there. So the hands is funny. Everybody's talking about the hands. The hands represent that grace. So when we are in our power, when we're in our passion, when we're in our strength, it's like we have that power of the lion.
Oh.
Oh no.
I don't know why it does this. Such a shame. I'm sure we might have her back, but does anybody want to jump in the meantime? Maybe like Sparrow, because I can see yours there.
Yeah. Just until she
Oh,
comes
wait.
back.
She might be back. Can you hear us, Alyssa? So we have two of you, but
Okay, so
we'll keep two.
I'm gonna mute that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you were
Yeah.
talking about the hands and grace of the lion.
Okay, so the hands are giving, bringing the grace, and then there's also a rose in the top of the head, also representing, femininity. And I really enjoyed the fact that the lion, being such a masculine image, has also this feminine grace. And I just dove right into that as far as creating it for the WOCA experience. So I'm very thankful for the card and thankful for the ability to contribute. And I guess, yeah, that's it. I would love to share this in a virtual setting so I can possibly do a VR world and people can explore it on a PC and on a Mac. I could put it into AltSpace so then people can also experience it. And possibly we could do something with all of the cards in AltSpace as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing, actually. Do you want to talk a little bit about your VR and AR process and a little bit about that?
The VR AR process?
Yeah.
So in virtual reality, I am able to paint with light brushes, I use tilt brush, and it really is a wonderful medium for me because I do healing practices in general, and I work with energetic healing, chakra balancing, and I'm very interested in sharing the light and as when any way that is possible, and through the artwork with the virtual reality in that light space, it's just it just delivers the message so much better. And I think it's interesting how I'm in the dark right now because I don't have the other cam on, but my intention is to bring the light. And I also know that for me, I think darkness is a little bit of that inspiration. So, bringing light to the shadows is always a good thing. And in virtual reality, you're just immersed in light. And anyone who's in virtual reality will experience that, regardless of, what their, spiritual level of connection is, or awareness of, chakras. It really doesn't matter. I've had people go through different virtual reality art pieces, and they speak of light, and there are some virtual reality games and experiences that are very gruesome, so it's really my intention to bring the more holistic vision into the art with the virtual reality in that way. And then as far as augmented reality, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is bringing something popping out of the page, so it's kind of nice how I could activate an AR layer onto this piece, and possibly I could create the lion head just coming out of the card. Maybe I will do that. That might be kind of nice. And then anyone who enjoys the card will see the lion popping out. That could be fun. I haven't gone to that level, to that step yet in this project, but now I have time. It can happen at any time. Maybe it'll be a surprise. We could say one day, hey, now, if the lion appears, it's going to be in your room. That might be kind of fun.
That could be pretty cool. Yeah. That could be really cool.
Little added surprise at some point.
And yeah, so I would maybe pass it on to, so I can see here that Sparrow, your card is on there. Do you want to talk a little bit about why you chose that and your process for it?
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I felt lucky to get the Wheel of Fortune, because I think it's the one thing that has a lot of meaning in most people's lives, simply because it's always there, it's always present, that there is always change happening and your adaptation to change. And for me, that's what the Wheel of Fortune represents, is that constant renewal and the constant cycle of life that we see all around us. And so in representing this, it's a wheel within a wheel. It's a card within the card. And the actual base image is from a 15th century alchemy book that I have reproductions of. And so I use the elements from that book to compose basically this card within the card and the wheel within the wheel. And the fact that this wheel is always turning in everyone's life and in civilizations' lives, lifespans, in cultures' lifespans, and everything is always being destroyed and being renewed at the same time. And I think that that's actually a lesson that we can contemplate for our entire life and still not get to the bottom of. So now I felt very close to this card.
I love everyone's interpretations of it. It's so interesting to hear. So who do we have? Karen, I think it's you.
Yeah, I actually love that Sparrow drew her inspiration from 15th century alchemical texts, because obviously this is where the tarot originated, was the 15th century. And so it's nice to anchor that in the time where, in the time that gave us the tarot. I happen to be a person who likes collapsing time in my art, and I'm interested actually in bringing together medieval aesthetics and buildings and smashing it together with 21st century art making technology. So this project has, partly why this project is so close to my heart is because I already am thinking along those lines. And I've not exactly been a student of the tarot for decades, but I've been around the tarot for decades. And I've had lots and lots of exposure to various tarot decks, and I've always been fascinated by it. So this opportunity for me to make a tarot card, I mean, actually what I've always wanted to do was make an entire tarot deck. I've wanted to do that my entire adult life. But even making one is already a huge responsibility, a lot of work. And I'm realizing, you know, this is a dream come true for me to do. But to be able to have other people fill in all the other cards is, it takes a lot of the work away. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to finally take my first step into creating a tarot deck. And so the lovers, of course, you know, I think anybody who uses tarot, a lot of people who use tarot go straight, like are anxiously awaiting the lovers card because they want to know what the fate of their relationships is going to be. And the ironic thing about choosing this card for me is that I'm not at that point in my life right now. I'm not thinking about my romantic relationships at all. And I've hit another point in my life where I'm more thinking about my relationship with myself and the universe. But all of the things that, all the symbols in this card come from real life and come out of episodes in romantic relationships in my past. And so this is a collage of photographs, at least as far as the tree in the background. Traditionally, the lovers is two figures who are a little bit separated from each other, and the tree of life is in the background. And it's about, and sometimes there's a third figure causing a threat, right? Like, is this someone you might choose a third person? Is this person posing a threat to your romantic relationship? And I decided to make it more about the fact that romantic relationships and our relationships in life in general are a way of pointing us to our relationship with the divine or with the universe. And so the tree in the background is actually the beech grove at Avebury. There's a grove of 4 trees with beautiful root systems that you can kind of see back there behind the lovers. And apparently this is the beech grove that inspired Tolkien to write about the ants. And this is a really magical spot. If you ever have a chance to visit there, you should. People tie ribbons, prayer ribbons, and people quite often leave little tokens of love. Couples go there and leave tokens of love, and quite often people will have impromptu weddings there. The Cupid figure in the background is the statue of Anteros in Piccadilly Circus, and Anteros is the brother of Eros, who's the god of love, as we know, but Anteros is the god of requited love. So he is the defender of requited love. So it's about love and its fulfillment. And the figure in the front is the Buddhist Yab Yum figure of Shiva and Shakti together, and they symbolize the divine male, divine female principles, and when they come together, that brings together wisdom and compassion. So it's not really about human love, but about the universal forces of love. And so brought all together, I'm hoping that it will convey that the reason why we have each other and why we have relationships, friendships, and lovers' relationships is to make us aware of our unity with the rest of the universe. So that's the lover's card for me.
Beautiful. And I'm wondering, like, you know, obviously, like, this is all, like, this huge collaboration has all been kind of possible, you know, because of WOCA and because of, you know, the community around, like, crypto art and NFTs in general. So I'm just, like, you know, like, an open question to all of you, like, how I guess, like, a thought around, like, collaborations in the space, like, how are you valuing them? Is it something that, you know, it's unique to this community? Is it something that has helped you, like, kind of get inspiration from each other? Talk to me a little bit about, like, yeah, collaborations in general with artists. I'm curious.
Well, for me, I actually enjoy making collaborative artworks more than I enjoy making individual artworks. And so this collaboration has been at the forefront of my crypto art life the last several months. And outside of this life, I'm also doing another collaborative project that is a public artwork that's not crypto art, but another digital tech-based artwork, a public artwork. So for me, yeah, it's definitely how I prefer to work. but I don't know about everybody else.
No, crypto art was actually sort of my first time ever collaborating with people on art, and I'm so grateful because it's just been the best thing in the world. I think I'm with you there on the kind of preferring it to just being there on my own, doing my own thing, because it means a lot more when you've got other people involved and you kind of don't really know what's going to come out of it, and then it usually comes out really great. And I think that's really been the strength for me from joining the crypto art community. It's just the collaborations are amazing.
Yeah, I never did a collaboration before crypto art, and I think is really one of the best things of this space is we are able to collaborate with each other, inspire each other, and just have fun together and make art together. And that's so cool. It always makes me more creative and makes me more happy because I'm working with other artists and sharing my experience with them is really great.
I think also
I hear a lot.
what we had at some point we had mentioned that in a previous talk that it was all at the same time that WOCA was created. So it was right at the beginning that this Collaboratia came out and the Discord was created and everybody was, no strings attached, just everybody was popping in. And at the same time, WOCA was developed. So the tarot, of course, the product is just incredible, but the process that led to that was even more incredible because so many things were happening at the same time. And the fact that it was, free to enter for everybody, no guidelines, all women, and we wouldn't even set a date when to be finished, or it would be just, pushed up, and then funding was coming up, and then there's another activity. And it was so beautiful because we had always a bit more time to get to know each other. And well, there's many of you here that just know how much I love you and how grateful I am to be part of this. But really, I think the process of getting towards this was one of the most beautiful things that at least have happened to me in the crypto art space right now.
Oh, I agree with that. And also on that process, what really blew my mind was that how we sort of solved problems, solved issues coming up. It was all so friendly. It was also, no one was arguing. It was all very like, yeah, we'll discuss it and then we'll come up with a solution. And I don't think I've ever seen such like a big group of people doing something in such a positive way before, where like, no one was arguing with each other. It was really beautiful.
I can totally chime in on that one. I was fascinated with everyone's contributions, how everyone, there was something that came up and somebody jumped in and said, oh, I can do that. I can take care of that. I can do that. And really, to be quite honest, it was an eye-opener to me how we can actually get so much done across the entire globe with this little bit of technology that we have of the internet, right? I mean, we really began to use it so efficiently. And I don't know where everybody's backgrounds are, but everyone has such a unique, exquisite talent for what they did and what they offered. And it was just something that was just like, I was floored the whole time. I just was really completely fascinated the entire time how much everyone was able to contribute and jump in. And I was very new to crypto. My first experience in crypto art was the She Art exhibit. And so this was all very new. And so I was just completely bewildered and so happy that, all of this could actually happen with so many people in such an efficient and effective way. The Google Docs, the drives, and just sharing the files. Anyway, hands up to all of y'all. It's really nice.
You should actually make a point of saying that there are 13 countries represented in this group and multiple languages. We've got South America, we've got Central America, we've got Europe, we've got the United States. What else, you guys? Help me out here. I mean, I think
Australia,
yes, actually, that's the thing, is that Michelle can never join us because her time. the time zones are a little difficult.
Yeah.
So poor Michelle, otherwise known as the Bad Lament, who did the Chariot, tends to not end up in these conversations. But I would like to actually, if we can, have more of those people from different time zones join these conversations, because I think it's really important to hear people from other parts of the globe talking about this experience from their perspective. And if some people don't speak English very fluently, but I would love to get a translator in so that their voices can be heard, because I think it's really important that so many different people contributed to this incredibly unified, beautiful art piece, and also a technologically interesting and substantive art piece.
I mean, I'd love to do this all again for the Spanish speakers, right? Because they've put just as much into this, and it really is so limiting sometimes, the fact that all of the all of the live streams, all of the panels, all of the articles mostly are so English focused, and that excludes such a large section of our artists. Having some balance and doing this in Spanish, I think would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And in any language, I think like having that accessibility would be key. I actually, I completely agree on the time zone. I think even like from like being in Europe, which is like represented as well, but a lot, especially like at the start, it was very much like US.
But I do want to go back to what sort of tie together what several people have said about the real magic that happened at the start of this, and seems to have carried through almost all of it. When I look at that tarot deck on Async and I see that reading each day, I feel that magic. I'm reminded of that magic, and it really does have something special, that it wasn't planned. There were no assignments, right? People got to do what they wanted to do, and the result is just magical.
It's WOCA magic, guys.
It's WOCA magic.
Like my experience, actually, like I'm very introverted. And so crypto art was actually a way for me to just delve into my own art and get lost in it, and just like really get deep into my process and what I love. And so it has been really interesting to find that actually crypto art has allowed me that, while still building meaningful relationships that maybe weren't so available as before, because there's more a need of connection and conversations, talking about like resources and everything. And this collab was like you were saying, it was very casual. So you're like, okay, I put my name in the spreadsheet, I do what I do, and then let's see what happens. And so I realized that at some point, because of the decisions that we had to make, and like Karen said, we lost some of the momentum, I felt like I wanted to help move the project forward, because it was a collab, it was a moment, a learning moment for me to just let things flow, because like everyone had at the time, I think everyone had a lot of things going on. There was the holidays, the new year, everything. And so I just let it, like I kind of trusted this project would come to fruition independently of the time. So I kind of just like let it on the back burner of my mind. And then when I decided to go check it out, I was like, oh, things are moving again. And so then, yeah, it was very interesting, the process, to see like how there's no rush when there's like a project like this. It's so worth it to just let it mature in its own pace.
what's interesting is that when the announcement was made, and I believe someone suggested, I don't remember who, but someone suggested everyone pick the card, and there was a question, how long do you think, when should we submit it? And I think someone said maybe in a week, right? Does anybody remember that? And I was so full of projects, and I was like, a week, but I had learned very quickly with the She Art exhibit that things move fast in crypto, right? Everything just moves fast, especially in crypto art. I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. And then little by little, one person came into the thread, was like, hey, do you think we can just maybe add a little bit more time and this? And I was like, oh, thank blessings. I was like, thank goodness that was happening, because it allowed me the time. So I did feel a little bit of pressure at first to get it done fast. And I also wanted to keep, I didn't want to say I was going to do it and then drop it. So it all worked out well. I mean, there was a little bit of a pressure, but it was kind of like easy pressure. So it was enough to get the motivation moving.
Yeah, I was really grateful anytime like it got extended. And I was like, oh, I was like, I'm going to get it done by Sunday. And then Sunday came and I was like, oh, I have to work on this. It has to be awesome. So it was great, like another week and another week. Yeah, that time frame in the beginning was really cool.
It all worked out really well.
Speaking of crypto art moving really, really fast, I think it's kind of worth noticing that where we started in September of last year and where we are now in the ecosystem of crypto art, we're in a totally different world now. And so for me, clinging to this project for dear life has been a way for me to like cling to this rock of this thing that I knew that I wanted to happen, that I knew that I valued, that I knew had substance and why, while all the waves are crashing over us of celebrities coming in and green NFTs coming in and crypto art is bad and suddenly we're on James Corden and suddenly we're on NBC and Vogue and it was just too much. And also the influx of 15 million people into our already pretty intense crowded world, right? So this project kept me really, really grounded in like, why am I here? What am I doing? I'm making a project with a small group of women. That's a really important, Tarot is really important to me. I've always wanted to do this. Async is perfect for this. And we're going to get it done. And so that's why I held on so tight to this project, was to survive crypto art as a whole during that time. 7 months ago was like, it may as well be like dinosaur times for the environment, right? And while we've been doing this, a zillion people have come in and have no idea what we're talking about now either. So, thank you all for like creating a safe haven while all that was happening. And, at this point, we've become an OG project just by surviving this long.
I think it's really important to recognize that not only do we have this amazing artwork that we've all contributed to, but we've also built connections between each other that are going to last, well into the future. Hope, as long as the artwork lasts, I'm sure those connections are going to last. And to me, that's really the value of doing collaboration projects. Is you build those relationships, you make those connections with other artists, and you can't find that anywhere else. It is something very, very unique in the art world to crypto art.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was going in and out because my connection was unstable, but I could still hear you all speak. So I'm glad that you continued speaking. And I completely agree. It's actually something that I hear from artists all over the place, that one of the biggest pros of crypto art is collaborations. And I didn't know that this started such a long time ago. So it's crazy that it's been going on for so long. Like, it's amazing. And it's finally come to life.
We could have had a baby in 2 more months.
That's great. Um,
Just to add to something that Sparrow said, I think that the centralization of the way we did things is so amazing, because it was all everyone doing a little thing there, a little thing in another way, and it just comes together in this very special way, and it's so amazing to see it live on
Absolutely.
async. Is just it's just so emotional.
And so the auction is actually closing this Friday, right? Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Saturday.
1st of May. Sorry, yes. Okay. So there's 3 days, well, 2.5 days left. What time is it closing on Saturday?
The auction will close at 8 p.m. UK time.
Okay.
We'll be all on the async server an hour before that.
Amazing.
So everyone's invited. Come talk to us, ask us questions. We might even do a reading or two.
Oh,
If
nice.
people
So
come
you'll
with
be on the Discord.
specific questions. Yeah.
Super. So an hour before on Saturday, so 7 p.m. BST, British Summertime, which is
GMT plus
I think
1.
I'm becoming an expert. 1 p.m. Est with time zone differences.
So it's still 5
Um,
hours difference between Eastern time. But
So-
if you just stick with UTC, right? We are currently UTC plus 1. So everybody else can do the math.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be two. It'll be.
So
We'll all be in the Discord at 2 p.m. on Eastern time,
Yeah.
and so that means it'll be 11 o'clock Pacific.
Nice. Thank you, Karen, for saving us all. Amazing. Super. Well, it was great to have you all here chatting. Definitely let's organize, something which is more time zone friendly for other parts of the world. Completely agree with that. So let's do that. And yeah, looking forward to joining the Discord and maybe getting a reading. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for hosting this. And yeah, let's try and arrange a Spanish one. Yeah? Cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Many blessings. Thank you.